pitcher Joe Black, who has a 15-3 record and is the National League's top candidate for Rookie of the Year honors. Joe has pitched brilliantly as the Dodgers' top relief hurler, and then last Sunday made his first starting appearance of the year. And what a start it was as he spun a three-hitter against the Boston Braves to practically clinch the pennant. In a crucial game with the New York Giants recently, Black was called to the mound late in the game to relieve rookie Ken Lehman, and his brilliant game-saving pitching enabled the Brooks to win this vital tussle at New York's Polo Grounds. Roy Campanella, one of the top catchers in the game, is also one of the meanest with the wood. Here he belts a long double. His 97 RBIs in 120 games has helped the flock tremendously. Pitcher Carl Erskine's 14-6 log includes a brilliant no-hit, no-run victory over Chicago. Southpaw Preacher Rowe with an 11-2 mark tops the league's hurlers in one-loss percentage. The slim Arkansan chalked up a three-hit clutch win in the recent Giant series. 22-year-old rookie right-hander Billy Los has captured 13 games while losing only 8. Big first baseman Gil Hodges has been invaluable to the Dodgers in their winning effort. The 200-pound, 6-foot Hoosier has 102 RBIs and 32 homers. Gil also has been on base frequently, as evidenced by his 90 runs scored. Here's Hodges on second base in the crucial Giant series. Jim Hearn winds up, throws. Dodger right fielder Carl Furillo slams a long double to left center field that sends the muscular Hodges scurrying home with an important run in a vital Dodger victory. Captain Pee Wee Reese, the Dodgers' veteran shortstop, has been a great help to the Flatbush cause. He's hitting .280 and leads the league in stolen bases with 30. Reliable Jackie Robinson, batting a cool .308, has 19 home runs and 75 RBIs. Here Jackie laces an extra base that enables the ageless Pee Wee Reese to scamper all the way home from first base. Pee Wee tallies on a beautiful slide that beats the throw to the Giants' Wes Westrum. One of the most underrated players in baseball today is Dodger left fielder Andy Pafko. The Husky fly chaser is batting .290 and has 80 RBIs. An unexpected factor in the Dodger race for the flag has been the play of rookie George Shuba. George is batting .315. Center fielder Duke Snider's 88 RBIs and 21 homers have aided the successful Brooklyn pennant drive tremendously. Against the Giants' Larry Jansen recently, here's the Duke as he belts one for a long home run. Both Snider and his mates hope to give their American League World Series rival plenty of this in the coming postseason playoff.
Baseball is all in Brooklyn today, for it's October 1 at Ebbets Field, and the frenzy is caused by the dramatic Dodgers and their participation in the World Series of 1952. For the 6th time, the Dodgers have brought the honor of playing a World Series to Brooklyn. At the peak of all this excitement in Brooklyn is Charlie Dressen, manager of the Dodgers, and his opponent is Casey Stengel, wily pilot of the American League's 19-time pennant winner, the New York Yankees. But today, both managers forget the hard-fought battles of the regular season. Dressen has named Joe Black, the National League Rookie of the Year, as his starting pitcher. Right-hander Black's coolness and ability have earned him this spot, and he has keen opposition in another right-hander, Allie Reynolds, who faces the Dodgers in this first game of the 1952 series. Reynolds, a 20-game winner, also topped the American League pitchers for earned run honors this year. The Dodgers' Roy Campanella will catch Joe Black, and Yogi Berra will work with Reynolds for the Yankees. Commissioner of Baseball Ford Frick and Mrs. Frick are early arrivals. His presence brings the official prestige of his high office. National League President Warren Giles is here, too, as top representative of his league. Bucky Harris, manager of the Washington Senators, as his encouragement to the American League's cause. Steve O'Neill, manager of the Philadelphia Phillies, will be rooting for a National League victory. Other well-known spectators include Fred Sy and Bob Carpenter. Sy is president of the St. Louis Cardinals, and Carpenter is head man of the Phillies. Excited fans await the start of the 1952 series, and they grow silent as the stars and stripes are raised with respectful ceremony to symbolize our country's patriotic devotion to the ideals of fair play and sportsmanship. The umpires gather to receive the official starting lineups and to clarify the ground rules for both teams. The crowd's pulse quickens as the Brooklyn team takes the field. Joe Black walks to the mound to meet his crucial test. The honor of pitching the first ball is given to young Russell Nixon, the Cincinnati American Legion Junior Player of the Year. After the young champions toss, game number 1 is officially underway. Hank Bauer is the first Yankee batter to face Black. And he flies to Papco in left field. In the Dodger half of the second, Jackie Robinson leads off. With a 3-2 count, Jackie wallops a home run into the lower left field stands for the first score of the series as the Brooklyn fans go wild. In the top half of the third, Gil McDougall drives a Yankee home run into the left field stands, and the score is tied at 1-1. Stung by the clout, Black strikes out Billy Martin. Does the same to Allie Reynolds and ends the inning with his third straight strikeout, this one on Bauer. With 2 away in the Brooklyn third, Cox walked and is out stealing on a throw from Barrett to Rizzuto as Phil makes a spectacular tag on the play. Yankee fifth. McDougall walks. On Martin's single to left, McDougall is called out at third. Papco to Cox. After Reynolds was out, Papco makes a diving, sliding catch of Bauer's fly to retire the side without a score. Still tied at 1 run each and 2 out in the Dodgers' 6th, Pee Wee Reese singles. And takes second on Reynolds' wild pitch. Duke Snyder, Brooklyn's center fielder, is the hitter. Here's the pitch, and there it goes, a home run, high over the scoreboard in right field. The Duke scores behind Reese and sends the Dodgers into a 3-1 lead. At the beginning of the 8th, Gene Woodling bats for pitcher Reynolds and triples high off the center field wall. When Bauer flies to Snyder, Woodling scampers home after the catch, and the score reads Dodgers 3, Yankees 2. Ray Scarborough now pitches for the Yanks in the Dodger 8th. With 2 out, Reese slams a home run into the lower left field stand. With that wallop, he adds another tally to the Brooklyn total. It's 4-2, Dodgers. Two men are out in the Yankee 9th. Irv Noren looks at a third strike to end the game. Noren is Black's 6th strikeout victim, and the Dodgers are victorious 4-2, and Joe Black is Mr. Brooklyn in the eyes of thousands of fans. This was the 57th mound appearance for Black this season. He allowed only 6 hits to start the Dodgers off right in the series test. Black was ably backed by teammates Robinson, Snyder, and Reese. Game number 2 at Brooklyn's Ebbets Field finds more baseball celebrities on hand. Del Webb, vice president of the Yankees, and George Weiss, general manager of the same team, are particularly interested spectators. While Horace Stoneham, the New York Giants president, looks to another National League triumph today. Frank Lane, general manager, and Chuck Comiskey, vice president of the Chicago White Sox, are also attentive fans. Grateful Brooklyn followers present the home run trio of game number 1, Snyder, Robinson, and Reese, with a huge bat to honor their power at the plate. Pitcher Carl Erskine is picked by Dodger manager Dressen, and the Yankees send right-hander Vic Raschi out to twirl for them. Erskine is encouraged by teammates as the game gets underway. The Dodgers tally first in the 3rd inning. And the Yanks even it up at 1-1 in their half of the 4th when Mickey Mantle, who had gotten on with a double and moved to 3rd on Woodling's out, scores on Berra's fly to Furillo. They add another in the 5th and go into the 6th holding a 2-1 edge over the Dodgers. Mantle first up, beats out a drag bunt. Then Woodling drives the hit to center. After the runners advance on a wild pitch, Berra walks to fill the bases. Billy Lowe's makes his first World Series appearance as he is called in to replace Erskine. Mantle scores when Hodges drops a double play throw. Then McDougald beats out a hit to score Woodling. Young Billy Martin ties into the first pitch for a home run into the left field stand. It scores Collins and McDougald ahead of him. And the inning produces 5 Yankee runs on 4 hits and 1 Dodger error. The Dodgers 9th. On the short end of a 7-1 score, and with 2 gone, Furillo strikes out, swinging to end the 2nd game. The victory is big Vic Raschi's. His 3-hit pitching with 9 strikeout victims has drawn the Yankees even at 1-all. Now the series moves to Manhattan and Yankee Stadium. 2 left-handers oppose each other today. Ed Lopat for the Yankees, while battle-wise, Preacher Rowe loosens up for Charlie Dressen's Dodgers. Brooklyn coaches Billy Herman and Cookie Lavagetto look the Yankees over. For both Yankee coaches Bill Dickey and Frank Crosetti, this is World Series number 13. Mrs. Casey Stengel is on hand early to encourage her husband. Mickey Mantle, whose hitting sparked Game 2, chats with the Stengels. Charlie Dressen discusses Dodger tactics with the team's president, Walter O'Malley. Another noted spectator is Will Harridge, president of the American League. Lopat takes the mound. The 3rd game is underway. The game is scoreless as the Yankees' 2nd inning finds Bauer on 2nd base, 2 men out. Preacher Rowe passes Billy Martin intentionally. Lopat with a 3-2 count belts a single to center to score Bauer, and the Yanks move into a 1-0 lead. Here's an incident at the start of the 3rd that brought a warning to the fans from the field announcer. Now watch it. Furillo gets a ground rule double. Reese beats out a bunt, moving Furillo to 3rd. And Robinson flies deep to Mantle, scoring Furillo. This run gives the Dodgers a 1-1 tie. Brooklyn took the lead 2-1 by adding a run in the 5th. Robinson and Campanella both single to open the Dodger 8th. And on Pafko's fly to Woodling, Robinson scores from third to give Brooklyn a 3-1 edge. In their half of the 8th, the Yanks make it 3-2 with Barrow's home run into the right field stand. With one out in the Dodger 9th, Reese and Robinson both single. Lopat is replaced by Tom Gorman. Gorman falls victim to a double steal. Then with 2 out and Pafko at bat, both Reese and Robinson score on a pass ball. Here it is, Yogi. So with 2 runs on 3 hits, the Dodgers take a commanding 5-2 lead. Johnny Mize batting for Gorman. Swats a home run in the 9th. But that's the last score for the Yanks. They lose the 3rd game, 5-3. And Brooklyn's cool, crafty left-hander, Preacher Rowe, walks from the mound with a victory that gives the Dodgers an important 2-1 advantage in the series.
Hope you're enjoying this look back to what was a great time in New York Yankees history. And Jerry Coleman, who's the longtime radio voice of the San Diego Padres and baseball on the CBS radio network, and before that, the Yankees, and on we go in your career. He joins us in our studio now to talk about the double play combination that was the cornerstone of the Yankees' success up the middle of the infield. And Ted Williams even went so far as to say the reason the Red Sox could never beat the Yankees was Phil Rizzuto. How about that?
Well, you know, they traded Pee Wee Reese. Joe Cronin traded Pee Wee Reese to the Brooklyn Dodgers, and that cost them all those pennants they might have won because of the great defense you need in the infield. And Phil Rizzuto, in my opinion, why it took so long to put him on the Hall of Fame, I do not know. To me, he was one of the greatest inside men. Let me explain inside men. You ever see a ground ball hit within 5 to 6 feet of second base, and now here's the runner, here's the ball, everybody's happening at once? Rizzuto was the greatest at that. He never missed a ball, never missed a play, could bunt with the best, and maybe the best right-hand bunter I ever saw. Basically, Phil Rizzuto, I thought, was a great, great player. Not just a good player, but a great, great player, because look at his record. Look at all the teams, the championship teams he was on. You don't win teams with poor shortstops. He was tremendous. And I used to tease him. I say, you know, Phil, if you could jump, you'd be a star. Couldn't jump very well, but he could do everything. He was magnificent.
The both of you shared those years. You later shared some time in the broadcast booth. Did you become good broadcasters because of a love of a game?
we were terrible. Professionally, we were terrible. You know, did they ever tell you about the time we had the wrong pitcher for 6 innings? You know,
that sounds like Scooter. That's one of the reasons we love him.
But we had fun, and I hope it came across at that time. I went to the West Coast. It was my home. And of all the people I hated to leave was Phil, because he was fun to be around. And all the stories about going over the bridge and coming back and tie ball games and whatever, and he never would pass the 7th inning. Nonsense.
How many times did you laugh during his Hall of Fame acceptance speech?
Well,
or did you cry?
No, to me, you know, it rambled. And it went on and on and on. I said, Scooter, that's wonderful. But, you know, I think people like that don't understand. If you're a professional broadcaster, and a lot of people are very starchy and staid, you know, well, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, he missed this and this. We're there to entertain people. That's our job. And nobody entertains better than Phil Rizzuto or knows more about the game than Phil Rizzuto. And that's what you want. Phil Rizzuto was a great, great player, Hall of Famer. He's in the Hall of Fame in broadcasting. I mean, what else can you ask for? The guy is a great entertainer. Of
course, the reason that you were the second baseman was because Scooter was at shortstop, which was your primary position.
Yeah.
We're in the Hall of Fame now, Jerry, and I go up to this special display, and there's one play on film that Phil Rizzuto made that defined his career, and I hit the button. What play is it?
Runners on him, doesn't give an inch. He's 5'6". This guy's 6 feet, 200 pounds. Takes him out, ball's gone, double play.
Quick.
Never gave ground. That's what when I see Phil, that to me is what I symbolize as a great double play man. Never gave ground. I've seen guys run. ball getting near him, player gets near him, they're out of there. Not Rizzuto. He was tremendous.
Jerry Coleman and Phil Rizzuto, they were the brick wall in the middle of the Yankee infield during this great era of the 50s.
Joe Black, winner of the opener, will start game number 4 for Brooklyn. Joe worked the first game with all the calmness of a pitcher with years of major league experience. He is pitted against Allie Reynolds, who has 4 previous series victories to his credit. In the Dodger first, we find Reese on base with 1 out. Snyder swings at a Reynolds offering, and Martin trips, throws wildly, and Reese goes to third. Robinson strikes out. Campanella strikes out, and the scoring chance is lost. It's 0-0 score going into the Yankee 4th. But big John Mize wraps one into the right field stands for a home run to put the Yanks ahead 1-0. Yogi Berra's at bat. And he sends a drive away out to the center field scoreboard. But Snyder commits daylight robbery with a sensational one-hand catch. The inning ends with the Yanks holding a 1-0 lead. It's the Dodgers' 5th. After Pafko's single and Hodges' walk, Fiorillo sacrifices both runners along. Trying to pull a squeeze play, Black misses the pitch, and Pafko is tagged out by Berra to ruin a fine scoring opportunity. Still 1-0 Yanks, and John Rutherford comes in the 8th to pitch for the Dodgers. Mantle gets one he likes for a tremendous drive over Snyder's head in dead center field, more than 440 feet from the plate. It's a 3-base hit. He continues on home when Reese throws wild on the play. With his team on the short end of a 2-0 score in the Dodger 9th, when Campanella is thrown out by McDougal, the 4th game is over, and the series goes into a 2-2 tie. Ice-blooded Allie Reynolds wrapped this one up, allowing only 4 hits. His masterful pitching brought the Yankees a 2-0 shutout victory. It's Sunday in New York, and 70,536 fans pack Yankee Stadium for game number 5. Casey Stengel gives sage advice to his young trio, Mantle, Martin, and McDougal. Ewell Blackwell warms up for the Yankees, while Carl Erskine is named again to do the Dodger pitching to avenge his 2nd game defeat. Jimmy Dykes, manager of the Philadelphia Athletics, is on hand to watch the tiebreaker game. Yankee coaches Jim Turner and Frank Crissetti check strategy before the contest. The Dodgers pick up a run in their 2nd inning. In the Yankee half, Woodling sends one out to right field. The blow sends Andy Pafko up against the railing of the stands, where he makes a leaping gloved hand catch to spoil a Yank threat to tie the score. Now in the Dodger 5th with runners on 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Billy Cox moves both base runners along with a sacrifice bunt. Then when Woodling races back to snag Reese's long fly, Hodges scores. Duke Snyder wallops one into the right center field stands near the Yankee bullpen for a home run that scores Erskine ahead of him. The Dodgers lead 4-0. Yankee 5th. After Bauer's walk, Martin bounces a single through the center of the diamond. Irv Noren, hitting for Blackwell, slaps a base hit into the same spot to score Bauer and send Martin to third. After Martin scored on a force play, which left McDougald on first, Rizzuto punches a base hit into right field. With Mantle out of the way, Mize blasts a home run deep into the right field stands. It's his third round tripper in 3 games. The hit also scores McDougald and Rizzuto and gives the Yanks a 5-4 edge. Dodgers 7th, with Johnny Stain now pitching for the Yanks. Cox is on second with 2 away. Snyder drives a low line single into center field to score Cox and tie up the ball game, 5-5. At the end of the ninth, with the score still knotted up, the umpires huddle and decide that the big park's lights are needed. So as the Dodgers open the 10th, the arcs go on. Johnny Stain, first man up for the Yanks, hits a slow bounder past the mound. Here is the complete action on Robinson's throw to first baseman, Gil Hodges. And the 10th inning ends with the score still tied as the crowd follows each thrilling play. Dodger 11th with 1 out. Cox lines a single by McDougald. The hit and run sign is on. Reese lines through center, sending Cox to third. Snyder up. With 2 strikes, he drives a double off the right field bullpen railing and sends Cox over with a tie-breaking run. The timely hit is Snyder's third and his 4th run batted in this pulse-pounding 5th game. It's the Yankee 11th. With 1 away, Mize is robbed of another home run when Furillo races out to the low barrier in right field to make a leaping catch of a drive that seemed headed for the seats. Berra up. He takes a strike, then runs the count to 2-2. He looks at a called third strike that ends the ball game. It's the Dodgers 6 and Yankees 5 as Brooklyn pulls ahead again, 3 games to 2. Erskine is mobbed as he leaves the field, the proud winner of a game in which he pitched baseball that was among the gems of series history. In only 2 of 11 frames did the right-hander give up any safeties to the Yankees. Plucky Carl Erskine, victim of a 5-run Yankee uprising, pitched 9 hitless innings, although they were not consecutive. Duke Snyder shared honors with the Hoosier hurler, and Andy Pafko and Carl Furillo each saved the day with leaping, back-bending catches. The series moves to Ebbets Field. Young Billy Lowe's warms up for the Dodgers. His pitching during the season was an important factor in the pennant drive. Reliable Vic Raschi will go to the mound for the Yanks. He's back for his 2nd start after 1 win. It's a pitcher's duel in early innings, but here in the Dodgers 6th, Duke Snyder whams the first ball thrown him over the right field screen for a home run. It's his 3rd of the series and puts the Dodgers in front 1-0. The battle of homers goes on as Yogi Berra belts one in the Yanks 7th. It's his 2nd of the series. After Woodling singles and takes second on Lowe's balk, with 2 out, Raschi's grounder caroms off Lowe's leg into short right field. Woodling scores, and the Yanks take a 2-1 lead. Mickey Mantle is up in the Yankee 8th. There she goes. Another home run into the lower left center field stand. It's a drive that travels a terrific distance, especially for a left-handed hitter. The score, Yanks 3, Dodgers 1. With one away in the Dodger eighth, Snyder steps up to wallop his 4th home run of the series and his 2nd today. And the score is 3-2 Yanks. After Robinson is out, Schubert double. Allie Reynolds comes in for Rashi. The pitch he throws to Campanella is a wide sweeping curve for strike 3. When Cox is thrown out by McDougal to end the Dodger ninth, the 3-2 Yankee victory forces the Diamond Classic to the full string of 7 games as the Yankees come from behind again to tie up the series. This is it, the 7th and final game in a battle that has been a natural for high drama. For the Dodgers, it's the 2nd time they've forced their opponents down to the wire. Baseball personalities join the fans in breath-baiting interest in the final contest. Mr. and Mrs. Dan Topping are here. He's president of the Yankees. On the field, Ed Lopat warms up for his 2nd start, while Dodger Joe Black, who has split with 1 victory and 1 defeat, is back again. Action in the Yankee 4th brings Rizzuto to the plate. He doubles to the left field corner. And moves to third on Mantle's ground ball. Dependable Johnny Mize lines a base hit to left field. To score Rizzuto, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead in the payoff battle. In the Dodger 4th, Snyder singles to right field. And Jackie Robinson beats out a bunt down the third baseline. Campanella repeats the trick with another perfect bunt in the same direction. Yankee manager Stengel replaces Lopat with Reynolds, who has made 3 previous appearances in this series. Hodges hits a liner to Woodling. And after the catch, Snyder scores. And once again, the Classic is tied up at 1-1. But the Yanks untie the game in the 5th with Gene Woodling's homer over the right field screen. The Dodgers 5th. 1 man out. Billy Cox doubles to the right center field wall. Reese follows with a line single to left, scoring Cox. And there's another tie score, 2-2. The 6th inning, 1 away. It's the young Yankee star, Mickey Mantle, at the plate. He swings and clouts a home run over the right field wall into Bedford Avenue to send the Yanks into a 3-2 lead in this seesaw battle for the championship of the world. Mize follows with a base hit to right, and manager Charlie Dressen replaces Black with his cagey left-hander, Preacher Rowe. After the bases were loaded, Martin flies to Snyder to end the Yankee 6th, and Rowe has saved his team from further trouble in this inning. In the Yankee 7th, McDougal is on second with 2 outs. It's Mantle batting right-handed this time, and again he hits. It's a single to left, scoring McDougal with an all-important insurance run. The score is 4-2 Yanks. Manager Stengel sends Vic Rashi into pitch in the Dodger 7th. Furilla walks. And with one out, Huck singles to right. Then Reese walks to fill the bases. And that was all for Rashi. Lefty Bob Kazava replaces him. He was called in a similar clutch in the last game of the 1951 series. Snyder, working Kazava to a 3-2 count, pops to McDougald.
Get a hold of one, kid. Get a hold of one.
With 2 out and the bases loaded, Robinson swings and hits a wind-blown fly to the infield, which Billy Martin races in for and catches on the dead run for one of the most sensational plays of the entire series. Let's have another look at this all-important play in its complete action. This ends the inning for the Dodgers with the score still 4-2 Yanks. Carl Erskine pitched the 8th and 9th innings against the Yanks, allowing 1 hit and no runs. The Dodgers' 9th. Bobby Morgan is sent up to bat for Erskine and flies to Woodling. Martin throws out Cox and is 2 away. When Reese flies to Woodling, it was another World Series scalp for the Yankees, 4-2. And they take the championship 4-3 in a classic series that baseball fans will never quit talking about. Bob Kazava, who pitched the final 2 2/3 innings, is surrounded by his jubilant teammates in admiration of his courageous, clutch pitching. The National League champions fought it out all the way in a hard-hitting seesaw battle, where in many spots a single base hit could have changed the balance of victory. Proud Casey Stengel has managed the Yankees to 4 consecutive world championships to match the record of former Yankee manager Joe McCarthy. And as the crowds pour out of Ebbets Field to close the 1952 baseball season, they talk of young stars and veteran players who have combined to make this World Series one of the most brilliant and exciting in diamond history.
Hiya, fans. I'm Marty Glickman. We're out at the ballpark to talk with Gene Woodling. But first, let's watch him in action. Say, he's quite a ball player, isn't he? You know, he's a perfect example of a fellow who couldn't quite make the grade with one ball club. He came up with Cleveland first, then to Pittsburgh, and now he certainly made it with the New York Yankees. You ought to hear about that from Gene. Hey, here he comes now. Hiya, Gene. Nice to see you.
Hi, Marty. Nice to see you.
So we were just talking about the fact that you came up with one major league ball club, the Cleveland Indians. You didn't actually make the grade until you were with the New York Yankees. Can you tell us about that?
Well, Marty, I was an example over at Cleveland of a young ball player not ready for the big leagues. The example was made more broader because of me being born and raised in Akron, Ohio, and everyone wanted to see me make good. But I was treated just like any other young ball player, and Lou gave me every chance in the world. I just wasn't a major league ball player at that time.
By Lou, you mean Lou Boudreau?
Lou Boudreau, yes.
Quite a ball player himself. But,
Certainly is.
From there, you went to Pittsburgh, and the deal involved Al Lopez coming to the Indians.
That's correct. And the reason I went over to Pittsburgh in that strange deal was that I played ball with Billy Herman, who managed the club that year, in the service. And Billy wanted me as one of his ball players.
And from Pittsburgh, you came to the New York Yankees, where you really became a major league star.
Well, it's wonderful to be here at the Yankees. There's no question about it. It's been a dream to be in World Series, let alone being 4 in a row. And I just don't know what it is to explain, but it seems like the Yankees have got a grand bunch of fellows, a grand bunch of hustling ball players at all times. We never say die, and we win an awful lot of ball games that way.
Well, speaking of hustle, Gene, if there's any one word that perhaps best describes you as a baseball player, it is that word, hustle. I particularly recall the series of 1951 against the New York Giants with Monty Irvin looking to get his 12th base hit and set a World Series record or tie the record. He had 11 base hits. And in the 9th inning of the 5th ball game, you really robbed him of a base hit.
Well, that's true. That was quite a thrill for me, Marty, over there in the Polo Grounds. And in fact, in the film, I'm even laughing after I caught that ball because it was such an unconscious catch. The ball landed right in the tip of my glove.
Well, we can see you laughing in that film. Incidentally, you did the same thing in the following ball game, the 6th game of the series in the 8th inning.
Yes, that's right. It seems like I had money jinxed in that series, all right.
Well, doesn't that sometimes, though, operate in reverse? Don't they sometimes rob you, Gene?
Well, it certainly does. In 1952, Pasco pulled quite a ball away from me going in the stands. I'll gladly trade monies for mine last year.
I'll never forget that one. How'd you like to take a look at that again?
I certainly would, yes, indeed.
Good. Say, Gene, when Pasco pulled that ball in, what did you think? What were your thoughts at that moment?
Well, Marty, our thoughts right then, we wouldn't want to reveal, but I was mad, in other words.
No question about that. But say, the kind of hustling baseball that you played through the years sometimes gets you in an embarrassing situation upon occasion, doesn't it? The way you try so hard, sometimes you might run headlong into something embarrassing.
Well, that's true, Marty. In 1950 World Series, I rounded third base on a play in Philadelphia so hard, and I tried to get back on Wakes' throw back to third. In fact, I almost crawled back to the bag to get back. And sometimes you can overdo that hustling when you're in a ball game.
Speaking of hustle and hustling ball players, you played alongside of the great Joe DiMaggio the last several years of his career. Was it noticeable to you that DiMaggio was slipping, was slowing down?
Well, Marty, truthfully speaking, playing alongside him, Joe didn't slow down. In fact, he was just as fast as the day I arrived at the Yankees, as the last day he played with them, as far as his speed in the outfield and as far as covering ground. He covered an awful lot of ground out there, and like I say, he covered just as much in 1949 as he did in 1951, the last year he played. And as far as his speed is concerned, he was probably just as fast on the bases, if not faster than anybody else in the league.
You must have learned a great deal playing alongside of Joe.
Well, Joe was a great inspiration to me. In fact, I thought I was a pretty good outfielder when I came to the Yankees, and I soon found out that I had an awful lot to learn, and Joe was certainly a good tutor.
Well, one of your most inspired days came in 1952 in the 7th game of the World Series against the Brooklyn Dodgers. That was really a good day for you.
It certainly was.
How'd you like to see that over again?
I certainly would, Marty.
Well, let's look at it.
Umpires it with a 5th-inning homer over the screen and right. The 6th inning, one away. It's the young Yankee star, Mickey Mantle, at the plate. He swings and trots a home run over the right field wall into Bedford Avenue, sends the Yanks into a 3-2 lead in the seesaw battle for the championship of the world. In the Yanks' 7th, McDougald is on second with 2 outs. It's Mantle batting right-handed this time. And again he hits. It's a single to left, scoring McDougald with an all-important insurance run. The score is 4-2 Yanks. The Dodgers' 9th. Bobby Morgan is sent up to bat for Erskine and flies to Woodling. Martin throws out Cox and is 2 away. Reese flies to Woodling, and the Yanks are the world's champs, 4 games to 3. Yogi Berra goes wild and leaps on Casaba's back. The game-saving Yankee left-hander takes a beating from his happy teammates, and the Yankees go off the field with another dramatic World Series victory.
Say, Gene, that home run you hit in that 7th ball game put the Yankees out in front.
Well, it was a wonderful moment for me, Marty, being the 7th game of that World Series, and we had to win that ball game. To get out in front in those games is a wonderful thing.
How many home runs have you hit in the series?
I've hit 2 home runs in the 4 World Series.
What was the one preceding this one?
I hit one against the Giants in 1951, a winning Polo Ground.
And it was you who made the last out in the 1952 World Series. You made the last putout.
I'll never forget that, Marty, because, of course, winning a World Series is a wonderful moment, and that was the difference between $1,800 to each ball player, so I certainly won't forget it.
Well, Gene, when that ball came out to you, what were you thinking of at that moment?
Well, right at that moment, it was just catch that baseball was the big moment, but...
right after that?
Right after that, well, I guess I jumped about 10 feet in the air, if I can jump that high, and was really very happy.
Well, there's every reason for you to have been happy at that particular moment. You know, Gene, there was a great baseball player here at the Yankee Stadium called Old Reliable, Tommy Henry. And these days, they're referring to you in pretty much the same terms, only they call you Old Faithful because of the way you've come through in the clutch.
Well, Marty, it certainly is a wonderful name to have follow you through baseball, and Tommy Henry was very deserving of his name, of Old Reliable, and I certainly hope that I can stand up to my Old Faithful.
Well, along those lines, continued success and the best of luck in the many years to come, James.
Thanks very much, Marty.
Good seeing you.
Good seeing you.
Till we meet again, then, with more baseball thrillers than the men who make them, this is Marty Glickman saying so long.